Okay, I am showing you what I have made. I'm making HEPA filter masks for, honestly, I've been making them for me and my friends and my family and some older neighbors and things like that. But this is what the finished product ends up looking like. There's a metal piece in the nose, double air, HEPA filter on the inside, flannel, and the ribbon edging. So, I have the filter that I use and have been pulling apart is this, actually. Let's see if we can get it to focus here and get it to pull in. Yes, bacteria, viruses, the ultrafine particles under 2.5. And the magic there is the true HEPA, the 99.97. I have no honest proven science to this. Maybe there is on the internet, but this is my best idea for anyone that doesn't have a mask that really would like when you should be wearing them as you're going through the grocery stores and things like that, because you can even be contagious if you aren't even showing symptoms. So this is what the filter looks like on the inside. I'll do a different video of how I pull them apart. Some are plastic outside like this, some are cardboardy and things like that. But I don't know entirely if there's magic to this, but it always has the installing with the arrow, with the airflow going through, so that your clean side is the rougher side. So what I have been doing, there's a soft side and a slightly rougher side. Just my thoughts. Like I said, I don't know what the science is, but I'm putting the soft sides on the inside because the air coming out of the rougher side should be the clean side. And so I'm basically making it so when you blow air out, it's getting filtered, and the air that's coming in is getting filtered, plus the double filter on the back side of the other one. I don't know if that makes sense, but otherwise, my cut pieces of flannel. And my filters, I just have various cardboard templates. What I've been using for the nose pieces, because I'm using what I have, is little paper clips. I unfold them, put a little bit of electrical tape around each end, kind of, the metal's only halfway through. I'm hoping that when I do sew this in, I sew a little bit of that taping down with it. I don't think it has to, but I figured it'd be a little bit more secure. The ribbon that I'm using around for the edges, it's, let you see what it is. I like the extra wide double fold. Some seamstresses, I'm not a seamstress, I hate sewing, honestly, but it's got these nice extra folds so that way when you put the fabric in, you're going to have a nice seam without fraying. So, enough being said, I think that shows you all of that. Obviously, I just traced those over the filters and so on and cut them out. So, let me move a few things around. Get out of my way. Sorry, this is a video that's going to be a little annoying because it's going to be long and me explaining everything. But let's get it lined up and get our ribbon going. And then we will get some. So lining up your filters really good. It doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to keep adjusting this as you go and sew, but enough that you can really see what you're doing and cut ribbon size right. Layering the top one. I don't pin anything down. Maybe real seamstresses know better ways of doing this. I don't want to pin it too much either because I don't want to mess with I don't want to mess with over-puncturing, potentially over-puncturing the filter. I don't think that would be wise to put little holes all through the filter. Alright, so I am just measuring a little length on each of the side pieces of the mask here. And I'm just pretty much eyeballing it, cutting a little piece. Same thing for the other side. In theory, each side is going to be the same size because I made these templates. The by folding them in half, but never know. I don't trust myself always. So I'm just going to cut each side individually. Those can be set aside. Okay, the rest of this ribbon is, it's 3 yards total. I don't think you need all of that, but saving the little itty bitty bits and pieces doesn't really help you very much. So I pretty much fold it in half, the rest of it. In half. One side will be your nose piece, one side will be your chin piece. And I go on ahead and fold one of those in half to find the midline. And that midline I put on the midline of the nose and kind of run it along to the edge. I mark it with a pencil. I'm lazy and don't want to do math, so I just go ahead and mark each side. Doesn't have to be perfect. Same thing on the chin strap. Folding it in half. Holding that midline right down to the middle of that chin, running it all the way over to the edge of that mask and marking it on both sides with the pencil or whatever. I always do the nose piece first, so I can do the metal piece before doing the chin piece. So we are now ready to start sewing. So let me turn you around and make it so you can see what's happening. Okay. Sewing wipes. Got my pieces there. Like I said, I'm starting with the nose strap piece, and what you're going to want to do is that pencil mark. That's going to be the shorter end because it's going to be ribbon, pencil mark, mask, and ribbon again. So on that end that's close, pencil mark closest to the end, I like to sew it with the slit to the inside because I'm right-handed, and that just works for me, but whatever. I double fold over my end. This is really thick, and your machine might fight with it. Mine is not. This is not my best machine for thick materials, but I have to make do with what I have at the moment. And I actually really like it for what it is. So double fold it over and drop my presser foot and throw in some stitches. Double back always. Just going to lock down that thread and then follow all the way through that pencil mark almost. That pencil mark gets closer, get it close to under that presser foot, leaving the needle down through the ribbon so you don't mess up your stitching before lifting the presser foot. We are going to get started on getting this into the nose piece. So going ahead, I've messed all this up again. Really realigning the end and corners to this end edge. More than anything, it can kind of get worked through the rest of the way. You're going to want to take one of those little end pieces that we cut and open it up to put that midline as snug as you can over that end, so that way you can get stitched down as we start the nose piece part. Okay, this is the annoying part, actually. Opening up the midline here. And working the whole top corner here all the way up. I even pushed it up into the needle almost. Only if you get this first inch even tacked down before you worry about any more. Just to get those first few ribbons tacked down and get it started. So, get it started. Don't do that ever. drop your presser foot. And what I'm going to do, because I did that, I'm not sure if I have a loose spot, is I'm going to double back. Really make sure that I have that section sealed down again, because that was smart of me. Again, make sure I'm all tucked up in there. And get that first inch and a half tapped down. And then what you're going to want to do is actually kind of just inch by inch this, maybe like every 2 inches or something. Start to work it up into the midline of that ribbon, so that way you keep getting a curve up and around the nose and you don't miss maximizing getting that fabric down into the midline. You might even hit little points where if it's not perfect, a little bit of the ribbon might have to like buckle up and over. Like I said, I'm not a seamstress. Other people are probably much better at this than me. And I'll show you, I have to go back and check in a little bit and make sure that my ribbon and sewing line is down, because sometimes it's hard to tell where everything is, especially on the underside as you're working in small areas and trying to make sure you're getting all the fabric and if you can, as much of that filter, everything sewn down into all of it in one layer. But it's not easy, especially as you go around little curves and things like that. You know, kind of have to see, this is going to pucker a little bit. That's okay. It's going to sew right on. You see that little pucker right there. Sewed right under though. Okay, once you work your way down towards the other end, just make sure you leave yourself plenty of room to put that last end piece on. And again, I'm sorry that this video is going to be long and mostly me sewing, and I wish I could do all sorts of little fast forwards, but I might be talking in the middle of it because I'm not good at this and I'm an introvert. And I want to make sure when I think of little things, that might help you. This is all an idea. Okay, once you got that end on nice and snug, get everything else in nice and snug. I mean, honestly, when I first started this, I just kind of started freelance cutting pieces and cutting filters and just kind of rolling with it. So this was all experimental. I didn't sit down and do some big math. I'm not good at that. I didn't do measurements. I just kind of started with the first one that would fit me, and then my husband was a little bit bigger, so I made one for him. And then I figured out, okay, how to do different sizes, and I made, once at that point I had already made little cardboard cutouts, and I just was kind of making slightly larger ones. Don't forget to double over your end, fold it, of course, always tack down your threading, and also helps. Okay, fine. Sorry, didn't pull my thread through. Okay, so that gets the top piece on, and that's why I said I'm going to go back through and look and make sure that my threading is fully tacked down everywhere, and I didn't accidentally, run close to an edge, kind of like there, and like potentially not miss tacking that down, because I'm not a seamstress. So above all, next, don't want to forget to do your nose piece. Don't know where my nose piece went, so I'll get a new one. And I'm not really putting much of a curve in this, to start with. Just looks like that. What I'm doing is in between the two filters is opening up the mask, and I'm going to work and push that metal midline all the way up, and so it looks even on the inside at first, and then push all of it all the way up and along the seam, letting that really be my guide. I kind of hold it up, make sure that I have even amounts on each side of the nose, and that looks great, over the bridge and through the nose. And from there we can start to tack that down. So I think I did something crazy with my sewing machine. Yeah, out. Okay. So you don't want to hit that metal. Of course, it might break your needle. That's never safe. But you want to come close to it, and hopefully you're hitting a little bit of that tape, maybe, and even tacking that into it. But needle stitches, of course, you double back. Always making sure your needle's down in your fabric before lifting the presser foot and turning. And what I'm going to do is try to follow along that metal piece right here. And I let it run under this side of my presser foot. So it's actually kind of lifted and sideways. It feels scary because it sinks to the needle, but it actually kind of just keeps you pushed away from it, and just riding along it on that side. And it makes a really nice snug stitching over it. But you can always stitch it out a little bit farther, I think would be okay too. So finding down where your edge is of that metal, because you don't want to hit it again. Come up so that it won't work its way out like a bra. As many of you might know what I'm talking about. And sewing off that in, double backing my stitches, opening. I'm going to make sure, thank goodness we're still recording, because believe it or not, people, this is like my third time doing this, and it's really just because somehow I messed up the recording, and I'm smart. So, we may now do the bottom strap. We've done the top and the metal nose piece. So again, finding where that pencil line is, it's going to be on that shorter end, longer end underneath. Double over your ribbon to keep it from fraying. I'm starting to lose my voice. I've done this so many times. Which is good though, because you know what it means is I've sewn like, I don't know, 15 of these masks. And each time I do this, as much as I'm annoyed I have to do the video again, I've made another mask. So, again, press foot drop, tap it down. It's going to be a pain because my machine's, that's tight. Again, I like doing back. I like doing my opening to the inside because I'm right-handed, and we're going to sew all the way down to that pencil line again. And that pencil line is coming up, so a few stitches. I like to leave, of course, the needle down, always in the fabric before lifting my presser foot. And we're going to, again, do the bottom. Same thing like we did before, making sure that midline is snug down on that corner, and that your fabric's lined up the best it can be. It doesn't have to be super, 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 absolutely perfect, but imagine you don't have a lot of room for that stitching where the edge is of everything, and you kind of, like I said, want to get as many pieces in there as possible. Some of these bigger masks, the filter will not go all the way to the bottom, but that's okay. This actually is getting folded under and will not be what you're breathing through. And I will show you that in just a minute. So work this up into that midline. It's the annoying thing. Again, it's probably just getting that first inch and a half started just to get that end tack down and get the mask started. Presser foot. And again, just keeping it lined up and working just a few inches at a time to keep it snug and curving with the shape of the mask. Like I said, down here at the bottom, these filters don't always come very wide, so on these bigger masks, I have a little bit off the bottom, so I'm actually only sewing together just the fabric down here on this last little bit, bottom piece of the mask, but like I said, it all will get folded under, and it's actually what will be under your chin, and not what you're breathing through. So, doesn't concern me. So I put it in, make sure I cut it that way, that it's sealing in all the right places. I hate to say I'm not very good at the bottom. Like I said, we will form the chin to make it a shape, since it doesn't have any kind of metal in it. But it it's not beautiful and is a little folded over and tacked down. Seamstresses can probably do better. Real seamstresses. But it's what I can do and what I can do quickly, and that's what my goal really is with this, is to make several masks and go on ahead and get them out to the people that have no masks and are having to order